Do know that because of the way it buffers, they can hear you.
Yes, they probably can. It seems to be taking a while, though.
No.
If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
Monday time for all the trains. It's lots and lots of trains, you know there are. Don't you need this?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So a big hello to. Oh my word! It's. Why is it suddenly gone wild?
Who knows?
So the comments are actually whizzing up really fast.
Here we go. Now we're live.
Hello to you, Jerry BVR, Peter Jackson, Leslie Gilpin, Patrick Ling, Local Model Railway, Richard Twidersky, Chris Hales, Heritage Railway, Flymo Chairman 1, Josh's Railway Adventures. My God, this is going quick. Stevie Film, Hemmeldown Model Railway, Rule 1 Model Railways. Jenny B says Bolton have declared independence from the UK. Long live the democratic state of Bolton. South Line, Southern Line.
Hey,
hello
I
to
did that years ago. Welcome to the Kingdom of Colandia.
Bear Lane, Stephen Price, Dongit's Model Railway, Harry Sedgwick, Mark Wilson, Evening Maduck, Wardler Productions, Fat Wallet Boy 2, Dominic Zed, our Kickline correspondent. Big hello to you. John Benicki, Dean Fielding, Teddy Edward. Gosh, these comments are going up really, really quickly today. Ed Flame 4291, B Mozza. It was great to finally. Well, actually, no, we've met before a long time ago, but great to meet you again. And of course,
well, if you've met him before, what you should have said is, we meet again, but this time I have the advantage.
Yes, our plot is discovered. Flee.
See ya.
Yeah, but yes, it was so great to meet so many of you over the weekend. It was the Doncaster Festival of British Railway Modelling. I was there as a special guest of KR Models. They were foolish enough to have me on their stand all weekend.
You fools!
Yes.
Do you know what you've done?
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, that's a good idea, because that means you can queue up stuff on there.
Exactly.
And I can keep watching down here.
Exactly.
Do you need to see this?
Not really, no.
Yoink mine. I'll give you that, though, because you need to do the control.
We have, what Jenny is currently fiddling on there by moving what is actually just a small Amazon Fire 7 tablet.
And which they were selling off dirt cheap, which presumably means that there is a newer version on the way, and they're trying to liberate the old stock very quickly.
Yes, but it's perfect to use up in the loft as a monitor.
Canal Boating says Happy Valentine's Day, Jen and Zoe. I must admit, I only remembered it was Valentine's Day halfway through. So busy. Oh, no time for the wicked.
Yes. Jen got back from the thing yesterday, what was it, about 8 o'clock, went straight to bed, got up today, did a load of emails about your work, and then started on this.
Yeah, exactly. A Crystal Penguin. I like that name. That's pretty good.
That is cool.
The Crystal Penguin. Have you ever seen that? There is a drink called the Tactical Nuclear Penguin, which is apparently about the strongest beer available.
Excellent.
It says Hornby should do another run of this SECR H-Class. I tried to bid on one on eBay. It sold for £260.
Why do you lot all call it SECR and not Seeker? Because you laughed at me when I said Seeker, but it says SECR like Seeker on the side of it.
Because it's
you say L and the R like. No, that.
It's an acronym.
It's an annoyance, is what it is.
Hey. Big hello to Mel's, Southern Train Girl, Belmont Junction. Gosh, we got such a great turnout. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream too, and if you haven't already done so, then do please consider subscribing to the channel. So, essentially, yeah, we've had the Doncaster Festival of British Railway Modelling. I saw so many people. I was just permanently talking to a new person. They were actually queuing up. I think KR Models were quite happy that I was drawing people in, and then suddenly very unhappy that I was. They were then talking to me and not buying the models. But no, that was really great fun, and actually I got to have a really good close look at the Fell model. Now, in terms of anybody wanting an update on KR models, the concert bogie iron ore wagons are due in the next week. And also, the one after that will be the Fell. Absolutely, the Fell is nearly here. And this was a standing joke in the model world, wasn't it? Oh my word. Stevie Film, incredibly generous, has donated 25 US dollars and says happy Valentine's. Thank you ever so much. That is incredibly generous of you.
Thank you so much.
I'm blown away, actually, guys, by your generosity. It is so great of you, and thank you so much. And just to put into context some of the things that I've been able to spend Patreon money and the Super Chat money on over the weekend. Yes, I did indulge. And
yes, some of the train people there at that show were very pleased to see your wallet, weren't they?
Yes, and you will see coming up in probably not this week, but next week, in one of the videos, we're doing another another video on cheap products. I'm going out there and search these things out. What?
Cheap as in low price, not cheap as in not good.
Oh yes, I forget. We have many Americans watching, and over in the US, cheap tends to mean inferior. But in the UK, just to put it into context, cheap means inexpensive, lower price, usually like a bargain. So I've been hunting these out, and I've actually, I'd never heard of them before, but I did speak to a few of you guys there, and apparently they are reasonably well known in the community. Anoraks Anonymous. Now, I know we're trying to get away from those stereotypes, but Anoraks Anonymous, oh my word, Alex Dent, incredibly generous, has donated £2 and says, we saw each other at Doncaster. Absolutely. And it was great talking to you, and I know I had quite a few people come up, have their photo taken. It was just so great to finally meet a lot of you guys. There were some old faces that I saw at Great Electric Train Show last year, and then a lot of new faces as well. Just so nice to meet you all, and I'm really blown away with the amount of people who came and chatted. But what was I talking about? I've lost. Oh yes, bargains. Anoraks Anonymous. Basically, I'd never heard of them, but quite a few people there did tell me that they did get a lot of stuff from there, and the prices were incredible. Imagine the prices that Bachmann items were selling for maybe 10 years ago. Oh my word! Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase incredibly generously donated £5. Thank you so much on the Super Chat. And says, shall be attending Model Rail Scotland on the 25th of February. Shall gronk it up with Iron Brew. Of course, in Scotland, Iron Brew is basically what...
Made in Scotland from Gerdas.
Aye.
I can't do a Scottish accent.
No, you can't. You just sound like somebody trying to do a fake one.
Yes.
John JMC says, Sophie is great from Anoraks Anonymous. Absolutely. Imagine the kind of prices that Bachmann items were selling for over 10 years ago, for as new in boxes, and great stuff there. They've got the rummage boxes for the really cheap stuff, but also, for example, you'll see in the video, I got a number of things. I got a Bachmann Bogie bolster. It looks like it's never been out of the box, and you'll see the price that I paid for that was incredibly low. Also, a Bachmann Northeastern fish van in BR livery. Again, we're looking at prices that we've not seen for over 10 years. And following on from the new old stock video, I thought that this was a great opportunity to delve into the world of second hand. So there's also a couple of other reproducts, and it really was great. Now today we've also got coming on, I hope to dial in to get him on, Craig Thomas, aka Iron Horse Railways. Oh my word, thank you so much. Mark has very kindly donated $5 says, hello all from NYC, submitted my new layout to be showcased today. Happy Valentine's Day.
Good luck with that, yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh wow. So Ian Parker as well says, always look in the boxes under the table. Absolutely. Richard Swiderski, I don't know if other people have mentioned before, but Richard Swiderski, your comment caught my eye. Says TARDIS next to the engine shed. Oh,
A
yes!
few people have mentioned that.
Yes! Oh, that is pretty good. So we're going to change the angle for the Doctor's modesty. And, yeah.
Oh, you hid that quite well. I didn't know that was that.
Yeah. So there we go. Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Evening to you. Great to see you in. Ed Flame 4291 says, what do you think of a purple locomotive on the Severn Valley Railway this year? I have to say to you, I quite like it. Now, it's not quite the what?
Why is the stream buffering?
Not anymore. Don't worry.
What's going on? Oh, Windows, what have you done?
What is Windows doing?
We already had technical issues. I don't know what's going on. It's buffering. It's constantly stopping.
That's just on that camera. Oh, wait a minute. Is it me as well? Oh,
it was
no.
you as well.
Right, look. Okay. Right, the TARDIS has been spotted already. So we've got another TARDIS spotting. So
How can that be? Because I've got it in my hand.
Maybe the second Doctor is being joined by the fourth Doctor. Oh no! There's stuff going down. There's going to be Cybermen and Daleks climbing out of the wazoo.
Wazoo?
Yeah, Ham Shackleton says buffering like crazy.
Yeah,
unfortunately, we have just updated Windows.
Yes, against our will.
When we say we updated Windows, Windows updated Windows, didn't bother asking, even though we've supposedly got in the settings that it has to ask. A few people saying frozen streams. Joe Smith says buffering every couple of minutes. Unfortunately, this is a Windows issue. It is at our end because it's buffering on our monitor.
Yes, it's buffering at your end.
Wamgok suggests we call Billy's replacement internet. We wish we could. Unfortunately, we're on air, live, dangerous, and Billy he charges such extortionate on-call fees. Beverage of choice today. This is controversial. It's Pepsi to the max.
The most Pepsi a person can have.
So it does make me go hyperactive, but I know that's okay. Dawn Gets Mother Rose says, but Anorex Anonymous doesn't have a functional website. Driving 220 miles to Doncaster without knowing what's there is a bit of a risk. I understand exactly what you're saying. Although what I saw at the show was there's some absolutely great stuff there. And what I would say is it's well worth looking out for them at shows. Certainly at the Doncaster show, it really was incredible what was on offer. There was a lot of stuff on offer. Also, Rails of Sheffield. I did have a really good frisk of the Rails of Sheffield secondhand, and such was the enthusiasm. The show, certainly on the Saturday, incredibly busy. I had lots and lots of people through. Great turnout. Rails, and I noticed a few of the other stalls as well, were actually in danger of running out of stock. Rails literally ran out of things to put out to fill the gaps as people bought stuff. So I think they had quite a quick and pleasant pack up at the end because they had sold so much of what they had brought. But anyway, we were talking about...
So how much of that was down to you?
A little bit. But we were talking about the purple locomotive at the Severn Valley Railway. I believe it's a rebuilt, it's either West Country or Battle of Britain. And I like it. It wasn't quite the actual BR experimental purple. We've got the Walter K. Wigham in that livery. I'm looking at it now, and that's more of a blue colour. This was more towards, not quite, but more towards the Porterbrook blue. Not blue, the Porterbrook purple that the Class 55 Deltic, one of those, got painted into. So essentially, I like it. I think it's a bit different, but then again, I like quirky.
It was very eye-catching, let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Big hello to J94. And David Friendly says, best to catch Sophie stroke Anorax at shows and toys stroke train fairs. Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that if you know that they're going to be attending a show, then it is a good draw. And I can tell you now that at the Doncaster show, they had a well-stocked table, and they did have stock there right to the end on the Sunday, although they were selling it hand over fist. I don't think they had much to take back either at the end. I was seeing a lot of gaps appearing towards the end of Sunday because simply the stuff was priced to sell. Really, really good time. Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, says, Jenny, happy 31st anniversary to Kickline. It's 1991 to 2022. Happy 57th anniversary to Mute the Mime.
Wow.
Oh, wow. It shows the sign of a good quality franchise that they do last that long.
Some people don't know when to take no for an answer. For example, this is like the 20-odd anniversary of the life of Nobty Mouse.
Yeah.
Just because I won't stop.
Yeah. J94 says it was a West Country, it was Tor Valley. And Belmont Junction, the purple 55 Deltic is Gordon Highlander. Which is that?
Gordon's alive?
Yes. Is that 55016? I think so, yeah. Or 55006.
Well, that's not good, is it? Quickly move on.
Don't do that quickly, you break the cameras. Ben Tullett says, no Gronks or Class 20s were harmed in the filming. Now, in terms of other purchases that weren't mentioned in the video, so I can show these off with impunity, Mark Wilson will approve 25252, the Hellion model. I managed to pick this up second-hand, although I didn't include it in the video because I did include representatives of some of the other models that I got from Rails of Sheffield.
Other models are available.
They are, but I really wanted that one. I also, and this is for the steamy lovers out there, I finally have my rebuilt Merchant Navy class. So really, really pleased.
And you pretty much had to rebuild it today, didn't you?
FYI, Hornby may advertise it as DCC ready, but as we all know, that was probably one of the toughest fits.
Yes, it may be DCC ready, but Jenny was not DCC happy.
Yeah, and Jamie Smith says 55016 was the Porterbrook one. Absolutely. Tim's Model Railway in different videos says TARDIS next to Signal. Was that a previous?
Yes, it was.
So well done. Oh, we've also got PVA J Cloth Alan Reynolds. And a big hello to you. And Melchester Model Railway says, who is Nobby Mouse?
The Life of Nobty Mouse.
It's one of our comics.
www.nobmouse.net.
Do we have... Yes,
N-O-B-M-O-U-S-E.
N-O-B.
Don't look it up just by typing Knob Mouse, because what you'll get is a lot of scientific papers.
Yeah. So this is one of our books. And can people still buy this?
Yes. Although I have found out that some of the issues are coming up with that. Apparently the firm that we use has lost the front cover image, so if we change anything, I have to upload everything again.
Well, does that mean that if somebody buys it, it comes with no front cover?
No, it still prints. But if I change anything, all they have is their ready-to-print files.
How have they managed that?
Oh, who knows?
Worthington Model Railway says, IDCC sound fitted 2 rebuilt merchant navies. It's a PIA to do. Absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Absolutely.
Pacific Interstate Airway?
Yes, absolutely. Although there is space in the boiler, but whoever designed them, I would... I would
like to shake them by the throat.
Yes. Yes, let's just say that if they were to jump off a very tall building onto a bicycle with no saddle, I would just laugh. B2000 RO Toys channel says, hi Jenny, I was happy to have met you on Saturday. Love your videos and streams. Just seeing you in person feels like I've made a good friend in need. And my large-scale Gordon rebuild is almost done. Absolutely, yes. And I remember you showed me the video of that. Really, really impressive. It's really, really great to have met you. I love talking to you. And hopefully we'll catch you again. We will be doing Model Rail Scotland in a couple of weeks. And that's where we'll have the upside-down layout there. Southern Video Photographer says, busy day in the modelling room today, got 6 unpainted gunpowder vans from Daypole, painting them into Ministry of Defence livery for a for a bit of a modern twist, I spent 400 quid at Doncaster. Oh, so you were also one of the big spenders. I spent £600. I spent £600.
You did what?
Oh, sorry. No, I spent £6.
My goodness, £6 whole.
Yes.
You got all of that stuff for £6 whole.
I told you they were a good deal.
I can't say anything. I bought an Oculus Quest.
But, right, we're going to need to get ready to dial in for Iron Horse Railway. So, Iron Horse Railways, if you're ready and listening, and I hope you are, really, we're going to try and dial in to you. So, for this, we're going to have to don the headphones.
The headphones of ultimate power.
Ultimate power. So, you might need to turn the volume up marginally.
Well, let me just do my thing first.
Your thing?
Yes.
Your thing involves breaking everything.
Thing-a-ling-ling.
So there we go. I think the sound's working.
Thing-a-ling-ling,
Hello.
matching.
If you turn the volume up ever so slightly.
Give me a minute, woman. What do you like?
So I will be at Glasgow in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, that's fine. Glasgow in 2 weeks' time. And then Alexandra Palace towards the end of March as well. So it looks like it might be quite a packed show lineup this year, because I'm sure that I'll be doing quite a few more as guest of KR Models. They've been really, really kind to invite me down to a lot of shows, and I get on really well with Mike Revel on the stand actually. So great company. Really enjoyed being
guy?
Hold on, my sound just went right.
Is this the guy?
Yes. So if you want to dial him in. So Iron Horse Railways, be ready and please don't swear. Rule 1 Model Railways says, I've been saving for Scotland show. Pain is, I am flying in Ryanair, so I'm sewing into my coat a huge pocket inside all the way around the back of it, presumably to take the booty home. Absolutely. And I know Ryanair, basically toothbrush in one pocket and a very large empty bag for the booty to fly back the other way. So we've got, that is quite loud. I don't know if that's coming through.
It will have.
Hello? Hello, caller?
Hello.
Oh, excellent. It's great to see you. So we're going to move over to, we've got you now on screen. So how are you doing? Long time no see.
I'm all right down one side, Jeff.
Not half left then.
No.
Excellent. So I believe today you're going to be doing a spot of weathering for us.
I'm going to try to, absolutely. Yeah, I've never done it live before, so that'll be interesting.
I'm just wondering, David, it's my mother Row. I think the actual loud ringtone went through.
I tried my best. I'm sorry, we're still working this out with technical blips.
A big hello to Skipsy's Trains, Francis Wadsworth, Matt Ovell, great to see you as well. But I'm hoping, is Craig coming through okay?
Could we ask him to turn his microphone up a little bit, if possible?
Are you able to turn your microphone up just a small amount, Craig?
I can, but I'll need to bring the phone closer to my face. It might frighten small children, so...
Okay.
It's alright, they've seen Jenny, they can handle anything.
Absolutely. So, it's great to have you on, and I believe you're going to be showing us some simple weathering techniques. Am I correct?
That's the intended idea. Yeah, let me just try and move this so it's more. I need to find out how to make my other camera come on.
Oh, we know that. We know that only too well. So I'm just going to change the camera angle.
I keep poking at the screen over moving to happen.
Yeah, it's I didn't know that.
My video feed off there.
Yeah,
oh, no, there we are. It's behind there.
It's behind you. We're actually on quite a long buffer, so I'm just looking out for the.
There we are.
The screen to change just to make sure all is well. So we're just smooth. Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says perfect my end. So I think we've got the
Someone's perfect up his end. What?
what?
We've got
We just got a
We've
very
got a
garbled
perfect
message about having a lion up your bottom. Oh my goodness! Now we've got Jenny on screen, in a screen, on a screen.
Oh, you can see the infinite
Infinite
regression happening in the corner, and that is cool. So, what wagon is it that you've chosen there to show us on the
Well,
weather?
this is just a demonstration wagon. But the actual one we're going to be doing tonight, I thought we'd do this one.
Oh,
Oh my goodness!
that's quite fun because I picked up my copies of that wagon actually at the Doncaster show, and one of the projects I was going to be doing was to weather one up. But so I'm really interested to see what techniques you're going to be using. Are we looking at weathering wash or powders, or are you going to look to do a mixture of both?
I'm going to try and do a little bit of everything. A wash, some enamel paints, and then some powders just to finish off nicely. I've got this Ashens thing going on here, just like a pair of...
Oh yeah,
previous
all you need is a rather sad old sofa, and the view is complete.
If you want, I can move it to the sofa if you prefer.
No,
you're fine.
You'll
don't
make
worry.
a mess of your sofa, and that is a word of warning to everybody when using weathering powders. They do stick to things, and certainly.
So that's what the mark on the sofa is.
And it was actually one of the things that Richard Brighton at DCC Concepts did warn people about was the titanium white, especially. If you get some on you, don't be tempted to try and rub it off, because all you will do is just spread it all over the rest of your clothes.
And don't lick it.
Yeah, don't. And also, actually, be very careful how you get it out in the washing machine, because you might just turn all your other clothes a shade of ghostly white. So that it's also recommended actually that if you're worried about staining your fingers, to contemplate wearing gloves.
Don't actually wear them, just contemplate it.
Absolutely. I am intrigued by that bogey bolster with the crane on. Is that actually modelled on a particular prototype, or is it freelance?
This is just me messing about, really. I got the bolster wagon from Carlton Models some months ago, and it was very cheap. I think I paid £3 for it. I put newer wheels on it, better couplings, and I just weathered it. I think weathering really does bring out things, and you can just see there's not just brown and black, but there's a bit of rust on the panelling. This is obviously a wooden plank, so you fade the wood, whatever. The crane was a Pico kit. I've not finished weathering the crane yet. This side actually looks a bit better.
All right.
That's a mixture of powders, paint, things, and whatever. So it's a bit of a work in progress.
There's one of the Monday Clubbers quite often shares photos of various engineering departmental type of wagons, and it is reminding of the sort of models that she's shown to us as well. Really interesting. I think that's Alice.
Yeah,
I don't know whether Alice is in at the moment, but certainly that's the Monday Clubber I am thinking about. Matt Ovell says, JD, most important liquid for weathering.
No, it's not actually Jack. It's in a Jack Daniel's glass, but it's actually Wood's Old Navy rum.
Oh,
With a little bit of Pepsi. So there we are.
all right. So the beverage of choice in your locale is a little bit more awesome than here.
It's it's a bit more explicit, shall we say?
Absolutely.
Could I just
Let's
state,
get the
sorry, I'm going to jump in because Ham Shackleton has given the most essential advice for anyone who wants to weather. Do not put weathering powder on your cat. This is essential news.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. So, and see, we're moving on now to the Monday Club wagon.
What's in there?
Are they car wheel balance weights, just to give it a bit of extra ballasted weight?
That's right. Yes. Later on, I've made this little, lack of a better word, a bit of a platform, because I'm going to put coal. Or
Oh, right.
things in it and just snap in like that.
So, and the scrap plastic in the middle is so that you've got that hump of coal without having to make it of solid coal.
We have to have the essential lump in the middle. This is actually card stock, not plastic.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
But it works pretty well. I'm going to get some little magnets, so getting it out will just come out of the magnet in.
I mean, what I would suggest for that actually is DCC Concepts do sell various sizes of some very powerful neodymium magnets, which are really easy to just super glue to the underside, and then you could just, with a screwdriver or a steel ruler, it will just pull the load very easily straight out of there.
That's absolutely right, yeah. There's loads of different magnets about. There's loads of ways of doing it. I've seen people use a hook and all kinds of ways, but that's just a nice way of not having to finger your model all the time.
Absolutely. And one of the things with weathering as well is that excessive handling is probably not a good thing for anything that's been weathered, because you do run the risk of disturbing the actual weathering.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? You know, these are models, they're not really toys.
Yeah.
So, a bit of movement every now and again. What I tend to do is, if I'm moving stock, I'll just grab it out of the corners, like that.
Can I just, are you able to move the wagon upwards a little bit? Because at the moment on our screen, it's just slightly off the bottom.
Let me have a look. Let me see if I can just adjust.
Oh yeah, that'll be a little bit better. You should be able to see on your screen what feed is going out. So
there we go. Yes, I've got it now. Absolutely.
So there we go, and I've only just seen the camera change. The camera change has gone in quite nicely. Although for some reason my desktop is now showing.
Is it?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Let's have a look. Just scanning down through the comments. Rule 1 Model Railway suggests dogs are fine though.
Yeah. Don't put weathering powder in your cat, but the dog's fine.
Yeah, the dog loves it. Really does. So I'm actually gonna plug my fan in, because I'll be honest with you, it's getting a little bit warm up here. I think the weather is slightly more mild than it has been.
It does get warmer than that loft yours, it has to be said.
It's very well insulated, which does mean that when you've got all the electronics in here, and 2 people, it does generate quite a bit of warmth. But I've got my fan going actually, and that is quite pleasing. So, what's the first step that you're going to be looking at doing on the wagon?
Quite simply, we're just going to do a little wash first of all, because I want to give this a medium to heavy wash, if you will. We're not going to go completely derelict. You know, it's just been stood in the sidings for 15 years and isn't using more. It's used every day, things are clean. So I've had a quick look at a few prototypes, so I've got a few ideas in mind of where we can go with it. I do tend to treat weathering a bit like a painting.
Yeah.
In that regard, this is like a canvas, if you will, and I'll often change as I'm going, depending on what I can see and everything else.
So what colour would you tend to choose from the start? Is there a base colour that you prefer?
I tend to use either a black enamel wash, or actually, what you can do is with a little bit of white spirit, just a dab. And I've got to do it because I've got a camera in front of me as I'm doing this.
Yeah, don't spill it. Yeah, you should be good. Yeah, if you spill any, you're gonna have to lick it up.
Oh.
Very good. Now then.
Oh, it's a very good year.
For legal reasons, we're going to have to say, please do not drink the paints and the weathering washes.
Matt Ovell suggests that Schrodinger's cat is both weathered and not weathered. Warbler Productions asks, how much do the weathering powder packs cost? Now, are these
it depends who you go for.
the ones you're using? They're the DCC Concepts ones, I suspect.
I've got these and I've got the MIG ones as well. I use a mixture of things. But it has to be said, the DCC Concept one's powder is extremely fine. It really, really is, and I've not. Whereas the MIG one's nice, but it does tend to be slightly larger granules, and that does have an effect on the finish. So that is worth considering when buying powders.
Absolutely. Although with the very, very fine powders, don't sneeze into the pot.
Well, it's a quick way of weathering everything.
So with a wash, you have a few ways. You can either mix a little bit of acrylic or enamel paint with some thinners. I just tend to use good old-fashioned white spirit. Or you can actually use weathering powders to do a wash. And you can use a little bit of kitchen towel. Here's some like Hangly Blue Peter style prepared earlier. If you get an old airbrush of yours, you can see this one's all tattered and frayed.
Yeah.
This is the brush that gets all the abuse and so forth. Just wet the tip of the brush in the thinners, and we're not dunking it, we're just, see them, just lightly touching it in. Just to almost just get a bit of moisture on there.
Can I just, I was going to say a big thank you to C. Ashley Moss, who has incredibly generously donated £10 on the Super Chat. So thank you ever so much, C. Ashley Moss, for your generosity.
Very well done. Now, just to demonstrate just how little powder you actually need, at the minute there is nothing on this brush apart from thinners.
Right, yeah.
This is the pot, and this is what's stuck in the lid. Okay, hardly anything in there whatsoever. All right, I'm just going to scoop what's in there.
So you're actually going into the lid of the pot rather than...
Absolutely, and then we're just going to give it a bit of this.
So, I mean, this is a technique that I've never actually tried, because I've normally used the Humbrol weathering washes, but this is...
Yeah, those work really well too, absolutely, yeah. There's loads of there's no really right or wrong way to do this.
And in some respects as well...
finding a method that works for you, really.
And I suppose in some respects, actually, varying your technique between different wagons can also be quite good as well. So you get a representation
of...
Could I just jump in? You've probably mentioned this already and I've missed it. What kind of brush is that?
It's actually a makeup brush.
Yeah, it's just a makeup brush.
I thought I recognised them, but it's quite a wide tip. Have you cut it down?
No, I think it's just had a lot of abuse.
This is what it looks like when it's nice and neat.
Yeah.
So it's an angled
this is what it
one.
looks like after I've been playing with it for a few weeks. You know, you do a lot of the dabbing and the blotting. The blotting and it happens.
Yeah, I know all about the dabbing causing problems from painting. But it had an interesting look to it, and I thought that might be giving a different pattern.
We're getting a lot of buffering at the moment, so a big apology to anybody who's watching and struggling just to see things. I think it's a bit of a bandwidth issue at the moment, so we're just going to try and force a change on the cameras. But so that is actually, I mean, compared to using a Humbrol weathering wash, which tends to get it a lot darker, that's quite a subtle, just a sort of a general being in traffic, but the wagon itself is still in pretty good condition kind of look to it.
Yeah.
That's it. And to be brutally honest with you, if you wanted to model this a particular period where this particular wagon had only been in traffic for a few days or weeks, this would actually be enough. Once it dries, you're just going to have that dirty grime, and you maybe do a bit to the axles, put a bit of dirt under there, whatever.
Yeah.
That, if you just want to do a quick, whether you've maybe got 16 of these to go or something, you've got a big rake of them, that would actually do it. And you can just see now that as the thinners are starting to dry, it's just starting to give us a nice little base. So we've got that on there now. That's good. Now the issue is, if you start, I'll just throw my weathering powder across the floor there. If you start to apply powder to a wet surface, it'll act like a paint and it'll streak. Which is good because it gives you an option. But if you let it dry, just a little bit. I'm only going to weather the sides and this side of the wagon this evening, by the way. I might do the back side as well, depending on time and what have you. So it is worth considering. Just what have I knocked off there? What's that?
And I'd just like to welcome to the stream Angus's Trains. Always great to see you. It's Mel's, Alan Reynolds, PBA J Cloth, Alan Reynolds. We've got let's have a look down. James Pets. I approve of James Pets. Great to see you in as well. Matt Oval says the wagon is already so detailed you don't need to have the bandwidth to show it. Yeah, we're just trying to show the actual weathering. So what I've done is I've gone to an angle where you're now full screen, Craig, and hopefully by not having to show extra cameras, it might just give us a little bit more bandwidth. But unfortunately, this is Windows for you people. This is what happens when Windows updates and messes everything about. I also actually wonder as well whether this is taking too much bandwidth from the internet.
And often.
So we're just going to turn off our means to monitor up here, because I think you've got it on your phone, Zoe, haven't you?
We'll just...
So we're now reliant on the audience to tell us whether cameras are working or not, because we can't see... Although actually saying that, I can look at your feed, Craig, on the screen, so I get an idea of how everything's looking.
It's feedception. It's a feed within a feed within a feed.
That's what's causing the buffering. It's like, but I can't work at this speed. I'm not having to process what I've already processed.
You want me? Shall I say? If I move?
I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you.
No, put that back. I needed that to make sure that the stream's working.
I was joking.
In fact, there we are. I can see. It seems to have actually... I think we were just using too much bandwidth with devices monitoring the stream.
To be fair, it's been going up and down all stream.
Yeah. So
all I'm doing now is just using a bit of kitchen towel, similar to a Bounty, and just running down the panels.
So this is just cleaning a little bit of the muck off the middle of the panels.
Right.
Just a little bit, absolutely. You can just see using the end indicator there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit going. This is just a wash so far. We've done nothing else. This is just powder and a wash. So we need to get quite brave now for this next bit, because it's quite fraught with danger. And we're going to now try and add just a little bit of rust, if we can.
So this again, you're going to be doing this with powders, is it?
Powders and a little bit of paint as well. Depending on the powder you've got, will determine how deep, how bright the finish is. So I've got this Rumble matte. I think this is matte 100. This is a really nice raw rust colour. Give that a bit of a I've already pre-shaken these, but it doesn't let you give it a shake again.
Yeah, and that's it. You can never shake a tin of paint too much. Well, unless the lid's missing, in which case...
again, just to reiterate how little you actually need to wear that, I'm only using what's on the lid of the paint pot.
Absolutely, yeah.
All you'll ever need. You don't need to go and go so crazy with it. No.
And can you
Here's a brush I prepared earlier.
Can you just remind us which colour is that?
That is matte 100.
So that's from
matte.
And that's from the Humbrol range, is it?
It is. It's an enamel, yeah. I find enamel works better with plastic. So that wash is pretty much dried now, and all I'm going to do is just to show you the comparison of that's what a newer brush looks like. You can just sort of see that there.
Yeah,
and that's what one I've been using looks like. You can see it's slightly more fanned out. This is what you want, because this can be your blotting and things. So I'm just going to take a tiny amount, just a little bit.
So it's literally just the tiniest of dabs.
Like that.
And it's similar to if you were doing dry brushing. It's that kind of amount, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And you can always add more.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to blot a little bit on there just to gauge how much in the brush. And we'll go in the corners, just like that. Just like that.
I'd just like to welcome, we've got Michael Wiles, Lee D. Holden, Midsummer Railway, N Scale, Canal Boating, who actually says, should have spent your £600, sorry, £6 for the Cupboard Monkey's benefit, on better broadband. I think it's weird, isn't it? We've turned off one device and we've now got all of the bandwidth that we need. It's most peculiar, it has to be said. So we'll have to remember that for in future. But the Growler Blackwood Engage layout is saying, Leslie, Nick, Mike, Sue, what about a meet at 2 p.m. at the Hornby magazine stand on the Friday? I think this is for Model Rail Scotland. I think it would be nice to do a meetup. One of the things I would say is I'll be there with the layout at Model Rail Scotland in Glasgow. So I am going to be constrained a little bit by that. I will be there with Paul Tyre of PD Models. He's my wingman because he is the other person who helped build the Hornby Model World upside down layout. We can always say that, you know, if people want to aim to meet at 2 p.m. by the upside down layout, then that is going to be something that I can definitely be there then, you see. And also, yeah, of course, the Hornby stand, you'll also be able to meet New Junction, aka Richard Watson. So there's going to be a lot of names there, actually, which would be great to see. Michael Wiles there says, love my Jenny truck as it is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think there are a lot of people who do quite like to have like pristine, clean models as well. And, you know, that's absolutely fine. When you look around my layout, I do tend to leave a lot of wagons in pristine condition. But weathering models really can add a lot. And I'm looking at some of the stippling you're doing there with the rust. So this is actually, by using the bristles end on, you're getting a representation of like rust patches.
And it always looks a bit different when it's wet compared to when it's dry. The effect is always far more subtle once it's dry. So you can actually afford to be quite bold in the initial stages. Like, for example, that looks quite garish, but once it dries,
yes,
that's actually going to be quite. I'm not going to go too close to the Jenny logo.
You can paint that out if you want. I mean, one of the things that actually, I mean, I haven't needed to because the wagons have sold out really quickly. But if they were a slow seller, I was actually going to do a tutorial about how to remove the JK branding to just turn it into a regular wagon.
Fiberglass broke or something like that.
Yeah, T-cut actually. Q-tip and T-cut and a little bit of careful work is actually all you need to lift some of the, and that goes for if you wanted to renumber a wagon, a coach, or a locomotive. Very careful work with T-cut is enough to actually remove them, ready for renumbering. But I like to say as well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also today we're featuring Craig from Iron Horse Railways. You may remember Craig having been here in person before now, and we're on the technology to get him on with this weathering tutorial. And
live at Dallas.
You what? Sorry.
Live in Dallas.
Live in Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is looking pretty cold and a lot like Preston, I think.
Absolutely. So I'm just layering it up, letting it dry, and then going back over on the bits where I really want the rust on the door panels there. I really want that rust.
And how quickly is this stuff drying? Does it dry quite quickly?
What I call working dry, maybe 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
This is why you only want to use a little bit of it. If you blast the paint on there, it's going to take absolutely ages to dry. So the more you use, the longer it takes to dry, which is why I only apply little bits and pieces. Just like in this corner here, for example, I'm just sort of pushing it in.
So it's almost like because what you tend to find on a lot of industrial items like wagons is that the rust tends to appear at the seams where the actual item has been welded together. That always seems to be a little bit of a weak spot where it will start to rust from.
I believe, and this is your science moment, I believe it's something to do with the oxidization process when you do the actual initial welding.
It's almost like you get a metal oxide, particles of metal oxide can form, and actually they end up almost like trapped in the steel, which then rusts from the inside out, and that's when you get it bubbling through the paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of the things that I know. I was looking at some comments on a "What's Neat This Week" video where they showed the I think it was the Chevy Nova being shipped in auto racks, and people talking about not so much the method of shipping, but the cars themselves being made of compacted rust because they just rusted out so quick. And part of the problem was that it was low-grade steel that basically had particles of iron ore in the steel. It hadn't fully converted, and that was what caused them to rust out so quick.
So now we're waiting for that side just to dry a bit more, so we can apply some powder to it. So you've got to be so careful with these models because they are so detailed, and I'm just trying not to knock anything off. As we go in. As you well know, the sides of wagons might well have been cleaned off, but the ends of wagons rarely saw any sort of any love or care.
Yeah, and those end doors as well would have been bashed around an awful lot because they're being opened and closed. And you've got the coal load bashing against them as it's being unloaded.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's another thing as well, where I think we've lost the camera. Oh no, it's back. That's another area where I think when you're weathering something, it really does pay as well to have a little think about the use of the item in real life. And also looking at photos of real ones as well can be helpful, just to guide you as to where the weathering tends to come from.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now we've got.
That's what I did with this. I've had a few looks, a few bits and pieces. I do like to do it somewhat freelance, but with more of a hat tip to real life. Real life can be quite boring.
Absolutely. Let's have a look. The Aylesmead project says, nice to see Craig getting dirty. I'm doing the same here, weathering a hopper. Pictures on the Facebook group. Ben Tullett as well, and Peter Jackson talking about the graffiti weathering on the TMC wagons. I posted a load of photos of those. And actually TMC have shared some as well. That is amazing. That's all done freehand, but with an airbrush, and they are available to order. If you go and have a look on the TMC website, then you are able to order those. You do pay a premium for them, but they really are works of art. But then we've also got, I'm just having a look, I did see a comment, it's just jumped. And Peter Jackson says, I've ordered one on Saturday at Doncaster, a cargo wagon. I mean, it blew me away. I was actually the cargo wagon, the Taunton cider that had those planets on. I was so tempted to buy that, and when I went back for it, it was gone. It had been bought. It was so good.
It was very nice.
I mean, they are expensive, but what would you pay for a painting? And they really are works of art. I'm just looking down it. I did see a comment. There we are. Matt Ovell says, really impressed how fast it is going. I always think weathering must take forever. And that, I think, is one of the reasons that this is a great thing to be able to show. Is just actually how easy taking on some of these projects can be. And
you've got the time and patience.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to: time and patience and practice. Really, anyone can do it.
Absolutely, and I think as well that you've got, if you've got a little bit of confidence in yourself as well, it's very easy. If you're not happy with the results, then there are techniques and ways to just kind of change the weathering. You can add more. You can even take some off as well. I've had great results if you use a little bit of white spirit on a stiff brush and almost scrub back some of the weathering as well if you think it's gone on too heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sort of know where I'm going with this. But if you want to model, like, for example, streaking or anything like that, then a moistened ear cleaner, what do you call them? and you can you basically what you do is in fact I might show you. Give me a sec. I'll go find it. Give me a sec.
But Sue at Putnam Junction says those graffitis were lovely. Absolutely. Worthington Model Railway says, when did graffiti start to appear on wagons? And this suggests the 70s. I think the 1970s is probably at the point that kind of thing started to turn up. But I remember graffiti being much simpler stuff like spray tags and little rude limericks and stuff, or just the really colourful artsy graffiti. I remember that being more an 80s and 90s thing, but I think graffiti was certainly starting to appear from the 70s. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a dilemma, isn't it? Because at the same time, graffiti is actually a real problem.
Yeah, I mean,
vandalism.
Yeah, it is. And on the real railways, it's obviously very much a huge problem and quite a bane. But Larry Rogers says, do UK rail cars get a lot of graffiti added to them? I wouldn't say it's endemic, but you do see things with graffiti. Like spray tags tend to be more of a thing, but they don't tend to cover entire items. But the kind of graffiti that you saw in the graffiti pictures from TMC that are shared on the Facebook groups, that's more of a rarity, but you do occasionally see it. Now, Jerry BVR as well says, Kilroy was here. That was something that you used to see a lot in the 70s.
Yeah.
But Midsummer Railway N Scale, big hello to you. Peter Jackson says that was really good. It would have taken several hours' work to do. I think we're talking about the TMC graffiti wagons. Have you, Craig, ever taken on a project that complicated for weathering? Or do you tend to stick to just the sort of wear and tear weathering?
It's more wear and tear. When you start looking at graffiti, then it brings a whole different element to it in terms of artistry and what have you. And there's the actual drawings, and you need to be really, 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 really good with an airbrush and have a steady hand.
Absolutely.
I don't like to. I've got an airbrush, I just don't like to use it. It's easy to go too mad with an airbrush.
Oh,
interesting. Do too much.
Interesting here, as Michael Wiles says, Kilroy was here, began in the 1940s. Although, where's I did see another comment about basically graffiti appeared when basically spray paint in cans started to turn up. I could imagine that before spray cans, I'm not really sure what you would have used to actually do graffiti on buildings or large objects. Crayons. But no, you'd have needed a brush and a can of paint, and
just graffitiing like this. Morning, mister.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just vandalising your stuff.
So if you look back to the side of the wagon, now that's all sort of dry. I mean, I've got a light going on trying to get rid of the sheen on there, but you can sort of just see how the rust is coming through, and the camera's not.
Yeah, and also any of the glossiness will matte down as the paint fully dries as well, so that will go a lot more matte. Absolutely.
But I think and you see, I've only used what was on top of the lid. I've not dipped into the paint pot. I've only used the shake off, if you will. Yeah,
and it's otherwise it's a bit of paint that normally just goes to waste.
Absolutely, and why not use? I'm from Yorkshire, you see, so we don't like to waste things.
Yeah, my dad's from Yorkshire. He can squeeze them pennies till they squeal.
Well, that's an interesting story, because actually the penny was invented by two Yorkshiremen who were fighting over it, and they were pulling on it, and it turned into a thin strand, and they have the copper wire.
Oh dear.
So there we are. So we're not going to go any further with that, because I'm going to go crazy and turn into a paragraph. So that'll do for the painting side of things. So we've done the wash, which can be done again with either I use matte 33 Humbrol with the thinners, white spirit. or I just use a little bit of powder and do as you all saw before.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
there we go. Now, I'm just going to clean my brush off because I don't want that to harden.
But I mean, this is one of the things as well. A few people have said we've been on this maybe 30 minutes since we dialed in for you, and you know, we talked for a little bit at the beginning. So this is actually coming together as quite a quick and easy
Bear in mind,
project.
I've only done 2 ends and 1 side. The other side is completely untouched.
Now, there's some interesting comments here about the Kilroy graffiti. And Bo Minnick says Kilroy was a man's name. He was a welding inspector in a Maine shipyard. He would write his name to show he had inspected the work. In World War II, the ships then moved around the world, and I'm guessing they'd be making the Liberty ships, which were used by merchant seamen the world over. And suggesting that's the origin. Interesting theory.
There's a brilliant part to that theory, that if it's true, it would show that Kilroy actually gets weird places. Like, when breaking a ship apart, and you would find Kilroy was here, in somewhere that's not accessible to humans.
And that would explain it. And also, Jerry BVR says they also found graffiti left inside the pit by the pyramid builders. And yeah, graffiti itself is a very old thing. But in terms of graffiti, the explosion of graffiti everywhere I guess is the spray can is responsible for that proliferation.
Oh, I don't know about that. Have you seen the graffiti of Pompeii and Herculaneum?
What, Romanus, go home?
Gaius was here and he took a massive dump in Latin on the side of a building.
Oh my word. Mark Wilson says, maybe I'm unlucky, but the 3 locos I've bought from TMC pre-weathered, I've had trouble with the overspray on the pickups and wheels.
Oh,
they
that's
just
a
never
shame.
seem to run as smoothly as on weathered logos. Unfortunately, that can be an issue. The only thing I would suggest for that is that you can buy wheel cleaners from it's one of the German manufacturers. I'm going to say Fleischmann, but it probably is one of the others. Trix. I think it's Trix, and it's a big block that sits on your track and transmits the power, and then it's got like a wire brush along the length of where the wheels go. So you push the train down onto this wire brush, and it conducts the electricity, but then as the wheels rotate, it scrubs any paint and dirt off. And it's a really great way of cleaning up any wheels that have things like overspray on.
The way that you're just painting those lines on, it's just so good. But it's so effective.
So this is showing where you've got a rust hole, and the rain has kind of just streaked that rust down. Yeah. So you're putting the initial...
This has been done with powder.
And so this is with like a much more raw iron oxide type colour. And so you get doing the initial dab is effectively the rust hole, and then just a little tail is the... if anybody's ever seen a steel plate that's got a rust hole, you always get that kind of dirty line going down the paint underneath it.
Mark Wilson, I would not sing just because someone has mentioned that I have been a little bit quiet. Here we are on the Monday Club.
Don't encourage her. She doesn't need encouragement. But I mean, this is quite an in-depth weathering makeover of this wagon. You can make weathering as in-depth or as basic as you really want. I mean, as we said at the beginning, that initial dirty wash is enough for a wagon that's, been in traffic, but not damaged, just in traffic and getting just a little bit of muck and muted down. So you could do a lot of wagons very, very quickly.
Leslie Gilpin, that's a good point. Are those paint pencils any good for weathering? The ones that look like ordinary pencils?
I think he means like the Derwent watercolour pencils.
I've seen Les Cliff do amazing weathering work with watercolours.
Yes.
But I don't recall any pencils. He just used to stick his finger into the paint
Um,
and rub it in.
Yeah, I've used the watercolour pencils on things like brick, like ratio kit. And also, just as an aside, John JMC says, I have put a picture of the Trix wheel cleaner on the Monday Club Facebook page.
Thank you.
So, I hear you shaking a can. So what stage are we on now?
Shake it up, baby.
What you need to do is you can seal it, or you can do a quick application, just literally a dusting of like a lacquer, and that just gives the powders something to adhere to. Now you'll notice when I spray this, even lightly, it will significantly dull the finish.
And
so I'm just going to literally just like that, just enough to give some tackiness to it.
Yeah. And what brand? Are you able to just show the label of the can, just so people can see what it is you're using?
That's Rail Match, but I've used all kinds of different ones before, but Rail Match and Umbro both work really well. Right.
And presumably that seals any layers you've already done, so if you're happy with what you've got, then that's a really good way of protecting what you've already done. But these rust patches have really come together nice. And this is, I think, always what makes a weathering, and it's, you can really feel that rather than it being a plastic wagon, this is now something made of steel that's interacted with the outside world, been damaged, very much work weary.
Absolutely, and like you said before, we just now need to give a dirtiness and a darkness to it. So this is a rich old rust or a dark red or whatever. Now, because of the colour of the wagon, if we use a red on that, it's not really going to show through so much. So we're just going to stick to the yellows and just a little bit of this dark brown one here. You see what I mean?
Big hello to Valleys 56XX as well. Great to have you in. We've got a really good turnout. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream, and if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. And as I said before, it's really, really great to meet so many of you at the Doncaster show. And so, Craig, are you getting out to any shows this year?
I'm sadly working all the time.
Oh, my
weekends, you see, so we're not really out. I'm just trying to get this.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not easy.
I must admit, with a former job, they had me working weekends for nearly 10 years. And that was the thing that always used to annoy me, was that they didn't allow as many people to book weekends off as weekdays. But the people who just worked Monday to Friday, they didn't need to book weekends off. But, anybody who worked weekends, for an actual family life, you had to use a lot of your holiday just to have odd weekends off.
Yeah.
And they actually made it harder for us to do that. So I was always really miffed at working weekends.
No, but you get. I got used to it years ago. So there we are. So we can see now.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And to think, it's hardly taken any real time, has it?
Yeah, and you've made it look really effortless with this. And I think that's one of the things that we did aim to do on this demonstration, is to show how easy it is for anybody to take on a project like this. And as I said before, the weathering powders that Craig is using here, these particular ones are from the DCC Concepts range, although there are a number of other brands. You can use Humbrol.
Other weathering powders are available.
I know Tamiya do some really good ones as well. Revel. There's quite a few different weathering powders. And also, it has to be said, I've had some great results using cheap makeup. As long as you don't get the makeup that's got the sparkly bits in, then you can actually get some great effects with cheap makeup. And the brushes as well. Cheap makeup brushes, either off the bay or from down the market, somewhere like that, are really, really great, because you're going to give these brushes quite a bit of abuse. So it's a really great way of just having a plentiful supply of cheap throwaway brushes.
All I'm doing now is just using a bit of frame dirt just to tie the bottom half.
And it's actually bringing out a lot of the detail.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the other areas as well. A lot of ready-to-run wagons have some quite bright, shiny black underframes. And the frame dirt weathering powder really works well to not just tone that down, but you get a really good like highlights and lowlights as well on a lot of the details. So they often look more detailed when you're done than they were when you started, because it's brought out and made visible all the rivet detail, the gussets, the flanges, and that wasn't just an excuse for me to say gusset.
Or flange.
Oh, flange. J94 says, I won't be going to a model railway show this year, but probably will do next year. Ben Tullett says, not just wagons that get in this state. If you get really close to carriages like I do at the Severn Valley Railway, you see how much dirt and damage can occur to a carriage over time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's... Oh my goodness, look at that, Jen. That is just amazing.
That has come up really, really well. And, you know, we've been on here. There's probably, maybe an hour's worth of work. And you'd have... If you hadn't been having to talk us through it, I guess that's an even quicker and easier task.
Yeah, absolutely. What the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed is the data panels are covered.
Yeah.
This is obviously not going to happen.
So, in real life, you tend to see that they would wipe clean things like the data panels so they could be read. They wouldn't
to do that, Jen.
They wouldn't do the full wagon, but this is a great technique if you want to highlight a clean spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's important not to saturate the Q-tip.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run it around the moistened edge of the cap.
Absolutely, because if it's too wet, it will start to bring a lot of that weathering back off, won't it?
It will absolutely. And I'm actually now just rubbing this Q-tip on the cloth, and I'm just going to gently aim for the.
And Michael Wiles suggests, Jenny, you should auction this one-of-a-kind example. This is actually Craig's own wagon, I have to say.
It's not.
So,
it's not Jenny's.
But
oh wow.
yeah, so now we're seeing. So this is like somebody's come along and gone, oh well, we need to read that, and just wiped it with a dirty rag. So you're just getting some of that detail back. And you know, this would be something as well that. Say if you've got like cab handrails and steps to get in and out of the cab of a locomotive, they would tend to be somewhat cleaner as well. So there's a lot of areas where you can do that. And one of the other things as well, actually, I meant to say this earlier on, in terms of weathering, with the streaking with the rust that you're doing, I guess it's quite important to mention that even on things that tend to run quite fast, the predominance of the weathering is vertical.
Yep.
So even on, it's something I've seen people do with a HST, which looks a bit odd actually, is to go, well, it's running fast, so the weathering would streak along the side, and actually that doesn't tend to be how it does it.
It's so tempting to do this.
Yeah.
Just to get the coverage, and you've got to learn. Just gently.
Always vertical strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll leave that now because this is for you on my railway. I won't seal this really.
Yeah.
Because I've put the rail mats down, and I put the wash down before, and the powders will stick even better to that material. So providing I don't grab it and finger it all the day, it's actually going to hold up pretty well.
Yeah. I mean,
that is so well done.
And you can see there, it's been transformed from a model made of plastic to something that really looks like it could be made of metal, that it's been worked hard.
That's the old model side.
So that's the side that's not... All that's had is a little bit of the wash, and that's all it's had. And you can see the difference there. Wow. And this is a real work-weary vehicle that's led a hard life and never been repainted since it left the workshop that built it or repaired it.
And you can tell that it's not been repainted because that graffiti is clearly old.
Ham Shackleton has written test, question mark. So you are coming through in the chat. We can see your...
4 out of 10. See me after school.
It says, oh, it's working again. My chat froze for a minute there. So yeah, there have been a few bandwidth issues. So we're moving on now to the insertion of the load.
Ooh.
Now, I've not got any glue for this, so I'm just going to do it to show you what I would do. So you put the little thing in there. Ordinarily, I'd use a bit of cling film or something before putting this this panel in, so that when you pour the glue into it and set it as one,
it doesn't stick to the wagon.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you can just put it in. But this is just a demonstration.
That is actually a really good tip for making wagon loads that fit perfectly without actually gluing themselves permanently to the wagon. So this is ground down real coal, is it?
This is actually a product called Seems Like Coal.
Right.
And you can just see now just the
That
difference.
looks brilliant.
Perfect. And it's one of the things as well when doing a coal wagon is that coal in coal wagons tended to be graded. They'd go through the colliery screens. So what you tend to find is all the lumps in a wagon would be roughly about the same sort of size. So you could have big lumps, or you could have what they call beans, which are really, really small lumps.
Big lumps.
But they'd all be roughly about the same. And it's a good point for making your wagon loads look authentic.
I think we can all agree that the funniest type of coal is nutty slack.
Yes.
Nutty slack. Yes.
Absolutely.
What is nutty slack? Does anybody know?
It's like regular slack, but a bit more nutty, I think.
Canal Boating says, fingering insersion of the load. What is this chat coming to?
You said insert.
So again, we if you want, so we can get the black out if
Yeah.
you really want. I'm not going to go too, because it's so easy just to lather it in black.
Yeah, we do have a question here. Melchester Model Railway asks, what about the inside of the wagon?
We could easily sort
well-
that using the same technique.
I mean, would you
Absolutely,
go more
yeah.
for because the inside of the wagon's getting much more of a hammering because it's having coal smashed in and out of it, and that I presume would tend to take all the paint off. But
it would, so you could look at doing chipping or
Mm.
things like that. I'm just adding a bit
But
of blackness now for the.
would it also take most of the rust off as well, though? Would you model the inside of a wagon as coal dust predominantly, or rust, or something else?
It depends on what the wagon's been doing. If it's been sat, then the rust will come through. But if it's been used recently in and out of a colliery, then the rust really wouldn't have all that much time to take effect.
But would you see a lot of bare metal, or would it tend to just be coal dust?
I think the bare metal will probably rust almost straight away.
Right.
I've never actually seen the inside of one, so I suppose a little bit of model of license would be important.
Yeah. Here, Leslie Dickinson says nutty slack was basically dust with bits in it. Right. So
That does sound right, yeah.
So basically, that would be the cheapest stuff that they would sell, and it would be a way of eking out your heating. Because back then, everybody would just have a coal fire, no central heating, but on an extreme budget. That's
That
really
is
come
so
together
well
nicely. So I'm really impressed with that. Thank you ever so much for running us through this effortless tutorial.
I wouldn't say effortless. There's clear skill and effort there. But you've made it look so...
Yeah, you've made it look effortless.
You've made it look like I could do it, and I've never done it before.
But that is really, really good. So I'm
thank you very much.
really impressed with that. Thank you ever so much for sharing that with us. I am looking at the time. We're going to be starting to move over to showing people's videos.
Do we even have time for that?
Yeah, we do.
We
Because
started this call later than normal.
I know, but it's that is a great little project there on the weathering that Craig from Iron Horse Railways has shown us, and I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, everyone in the chat is saying great work. You've just
So,
done
yeah.
so much. That is amazing.
Absolutely. So,
Oh, look at that.
so that's the magnetic couplings.
Well, these couplings are actually one that I've designed. They
Oh.
are a magnetic one, but
Oh,
if you
wow.
look here,
Hmm.
they're actually on a. This is the prototype. I've got the real one away being worked on,
Hmm.
and essentially you drill a small hole into the buffer beam. You can just sort of see it on the Jenny Wagon there,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the magnet is actually attached to a piece of wire. And
Right.
what that lets you do, it just gives you a lot more flexibility.
And
And
presumably
it keeps the
makes them much
keeps the
strong.
magnets together. Absolutely, the magnets never break apart.
Right, right.
That is interesting.
Nice.
You'll want to trademark that
It also
before
lets out
someone
the
comes
buffer
in.
beam detail as well.
Brilliant. I mean, I am blown away just how you've taken from the start with a completely clean Monday wagon out of the box, and you transformed it into an amazing wagon that looks like it's been worked hard. But yeah, anybody wants to subscribe to Iron Horse Railways, head on over to his channel on YouTube. And thank you ever so much for joining us. So, have we had quite a few videos sent in?
Oh, Lord.
So, we're going to say thank you so much. We're going to move over now to showing some of your videos. But thank you so much, Craig. It's been great having you on.
My pleasure.
No
My
problem.
absolute pleasure.
No problem. Well, look, you take care, and I will catch you again later.
All right, see you later, guys.
Bye.
So,
Wow.
Mike at Putnam Junction says, thanks, Craig, for the tutorial. We've got Richard Swiderski says, super work. What was the coal used again? What did he say it was? It was an actual product.
Oh, Jen, you're asking the wrong person. I can barely hear anything.
And are we? Oh yeah, we are still. Couldn't see any trains moving on there. So we're going to let's try a different camera angle. But Valleys 56XX says that was a great tutorial. Michael Wild says thanks, Craig. So we're going to start work on the Cover Monkey's going to queue up some of your videos.
What? Am I? What?
Yes. And this is the point of the Monday Club stream where we take a look at some of your videos. If you want to have your own work featured, then you can send a link to the video. Please don't send the video as an attachment.
Because I'll cry.
To Zoe at zoerobinson.com. And we're going to look now to get some of your videos up onto the screen. And this is a great opportunity to share what you have been doing with the Monday Club. And we always do really look forward to seeing some of the things that you have sent in for us. Flower Chairman 1 says, just like coal.
That sounds right, but I couldn't tell you for certain.
I should have asked which manufacturer. I never thought. Mark Wilson suggests a Monkey See, Monkey Do weathering special.
To be honest with you, we have some stuff coming up.
We do have some
Fairly
monkey
soon.
builds, definitely. And
Where I might try a little bit of light weathering,
yeah.
but I don't know for sure.
Well, you've seen the technique demonstrated by Craig at Iron Horse Railways. And thank you ever so much, Flymo Chairman 1, for sharing the link to Craig's YouTube channel. And big hello to J. Paul Anderson, just seen you there in the chat. Great to have you. And Heartfiller Railway says, I'd be scared of attempting weathering in case I really mess up a good model. And that's something that we did talk about. It is quite easy to remove some of the weathering if you feel like you've gone overboard. And in many respects, less is more. Small layers and just build it up. Don't try and go too far. Leave it, come back the following day, see how you've done. But you can remove weathering. It is removable. So all is not lost. But as you saw there, Craig did make it look quite effortless. And top tips, definitely, to, just tiny amounts of paint, tiny amounts of powder, and also those vertical strokes. And I really particularly love the way that he did the rust spots with that tiny wee dab and then the streaky tail. And that was with a tiny amount of powder. Big hello to 156 Andrew, great to see you in. And says happy Valentine's. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, February the 14th I'd forgotten it was Valentine's Day. But it's okay, the cupboard monkey appeared to have forgotten as well. So
I knew it was Valentine's Day.
You just didn't bother. So I'm married, I don't have to make any effort now.
That's true. I could let myself go. Okay, so the
Johan
first one...
Swanepoel, hello to you. Sorry.
Go on, sorry.
I'm just saying hello to Johan Swanepoel.
Ah, right. Okay, so guys, our first video tonight is from Doncaster Model Railway, and he sent us a video about a Wagon Class 25 that wouldn't run properly, but he's managed to make it work. So the full video that I'm going to link when we're playing the video shows how he's fixed it, but for what he sent us with timestamp, it's just it running. So if you want to bring that up,
okay,
here we go. So this is from Doncaster.
So a big thank you to Doncaster Model Railway, and we've seen this layout a few times before. Some really interesting stuff going on here, but finally got the 25 running. And one of the things actually as well, I had the one that I got from. Why am I still wearing the headphones? I don't need those now.
Because you're silly Billy.
I forget. But the Class 25 that I actually got from second hand is absolutely pristine. Hardly been run, but whoever's run it has run it on the carpet. And it picked up loads of fibres, which meant that it didn't run properly. So one of the big issues with these is you know, look for things like that. If it's sluggish, if it feels like it's drawing a big current, not really great and
that
happy.
Was lovely. Thank you very much, Doncaster.
Thank you so much for sharing that video with us.
And like I say, the full thing is in the link is in the chat, so you can see how he's built this up, and that'll be very interesting for people, especially anyone who's got something like their favourite loco has stopped working.
Absolutely.
Then you can find out how to fix them.
Yeah, I actually jokingly said I must have bought second-hand one of Sam's trains because it's pristine, but it's been run on a carpet. And that is really why you've got to really not run them direct to the carpet.
Yeah, you
because
need a baseboard.
you get a lot of carpet fluff that just kind of wraps around the wheels, and that over time builds up the friction. So I had to go to work with a pair of tweezers, and the improvement was tremendous.
It's like night and day, isn't it?
Yeah, and it leaves you wondering whether the original person went, oh, it's not really working very well, I'm just going to trade it in and get rid of it. And actually, there can be some quite quick and simple fixes.
But of course, we're not suggesting anything bad with Sam. He's a big channel. He can take it. So we have a little bit of a joke. I'm just saying he
runs them on the carpet. So
yeah.
just highlighting that. Right. Anyway, James Pett says I approve of fixing things. I thought you might. Iron Horse Railway says coal I used was easy loads. Seems like coal.
There you go.
So
thank you for coming on the show tonight. So.
Absolutely. So we've got a day and night running session from New Mills Model Railway.
Yes, I think this will be quite interesting.
And this is right. I'm gonna press now. So we've got, this is one of the Daypole signals. These are lovely. We did do a video on these.
Jenny, what is that locomotive? Because it's got a weird looking...
That's an Ivet 2MT, I believe. Or is it a 3MT? It's either a 2MT or a 3MT.
It's got a weird shape on the back.
Yeah, that's the coal bunker, so that they still can see. The crew can see through the back, but it's kind of got a extra higher capacity hopper. Now that looks like a 45XX. I'm going to say it's a 45XX small prairie.
Look at the way the cobblestones actually are textured and stick out.
Absolutely, but I'm looking at the lighting in the carriages and the lights on the platform. And the trees too, that has caught my eye. That's a really nice tree. You can see in the background there's still construction going on, but is that a yeah, that is a 45XX prairie, I believe. There's a lot of lighting in the buildings. Really, really interesting.
It really brings it to life. I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like at night.
So, James Pett says splendid signals, and Liam at New Mills Model Railway
Patrick,
says
how are you doing?
Standard 3MT. J. Paul Anderson says lovely layout. I don't know, something just
something flashed, didn't it?
Yeah, I saw that as well. So,
oh, look at that back scene. That is lovely.
And Valley's 56XX says love small prairies. Absolutely. I've only got one in my collection.
Really? You've got like 500 A4.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I've only got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
100?
9. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, look
Richard
at that.
Swiderski says, nice looking layout. Ben Tollett says, I do like the homemade footbridge. Really nice layout. You can see there's still a lot of construction going on, but it's...
Is that one of those Metcalf castles in the background
Yes,
there?
it is.
We've got one of them to build.
Those trees are really, really good, actually.
I've got to get on with that. I don't know where you're going to put it.
Did it just run through a signal at danger, or was that a distance signal? I'm gonna assume it's a distance signal. And this, as you can see, it's almost like it's running on a little bit of a shelf. So this is a really great layout. You can see how much has been packed into a small space. Now, Andrew Bewdley Junction says, is a model railway ever finished? I know exactly...
It is when you stop and decide it's finished. But then later on, when you decide, actually, I want to add some more, suddenly it's not finished again. It exists in a kind of a duality of finished and not finished.
Weir Yard was finished a couple of years ago, but you forever improve certain areas. And that's the beauty of a model railway. But,
Yes.
some really nice signals there.
It's
and,
in a constant state of developmental
yeah,
finishing.
I think are we going to see the signal change?
Go on.
I don't know. But
Oh well. Yeah, as everyone's saying, this is a fantastic layout. I'm going to move it on a little bit because it's a day and night running session.
Oh, there's the night.
I wanted to see the night.
Because we've got some all the lighting, and this is great.
The character that it brings to it.
The coach lighting really is
Yeah,
good.
but look at the lighting in the background, the depth that you can see, and all the
Yeah,
suggestions.
yeah.
Of
Oh,
stuff.
and look how the light projects. You see
Oh.
there how as it goes past the light reflecting. Oh,
It's so
that
good.
is such a great effect. It has to be said.
That is superb.
And if you're doing a night running like this as well, it's where having something like the firebox flicker.
Yes.
I think the signal just changed there as well. But having the firebox flicker in the cab as well will really come into its own. But look there, you can see the lighting in the signal box.
That
So
is
thank
wonderful.
you
Thank you.
so much for sharing
Oh.
that with us. That was incredible. So, I'd like to thank Patrick Furlong, who has sent £1.23 on the
Patrick, you
on
really
the
don't
super
need
chat.
to.
Thank you so much for your generosity. Very, very welcome. And we've also had Brian Bell has sent £25 on the super chat. So again, thank you so much for your generosity. And without you guys, I just wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you
Richard
so much.
Swiderski says very short clip of APT running, but unfortunately you've sent it as an attachment, and I can't play it. I'd have to download it, and we've seen what happens when that happens.
Unfortunately, we just
very
don't
sorry.
have the bandwidth. So if you're able to upload it and send a link, then that is really the only way that we can play them on the
Yeah,
Monday
I'm really
Club,
sorry.
unfortunately. So don't forget to tickle that like button. There's only 151 likes, but 270 watching. So do please consider tickling the like button. Right, oh, there we are. From up there, I've got a blank screen. I'm just monitoring. Mark Wilson says, super layout. Wiven Model Railway says, evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm late.
Now, what next we've got is from Heartfilia, who I think is new to sending videos in.
This is a lovely layout, and that's the W1. I'm sure we've seen.
Oh, look
I
at
have
that
seen some
street.
pictures. I think they've shared some photos
They may have.
on the Facebook group. But I'm looking at the lighting again. There's a really great theme with coach lighting.
This is so good.
Now that's the L1. I've got one of those, but I had big issues with the front bogie. But the W1, really nice model. It's nice to see it running.
I like the way that are they the extra plates you can stick on instead of just having to print it for the nameplates, because that looked really good.
Possibly. Really, look at the lighting in those.
That is very nicely done. The buffet car offers morning refreshments. This looks really
Richard
nice.
Swiderski says, sorry, forgot. We'll redo for next
No
week.
problem,
No
no problem at all.
And Warbler Productions, thank you so much. I've just put a link to the company that makes the loose coal loads that Craig was using in the Facebook
Superb,
group.
thank you.
They make loads of scale loads for modelling purposes. Brilliant, thank you. So
Is that the Hush Hush?
it is, yeah.
It looks amazing.
Wyvern Model Railway apologised for being late, you know.
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Thanks, Gandalf.
I really wish he'd knock. But
if he knocked, then you wouldn't be surprised.
I'm really impressed with the lighting in those coaches.
I'm loving the level of detail, and again,
So we've
not
got-
everything's on the same level,
Yeah.
so it looks real.
So we've got the B12, Hornby B12, and all LNER on this. Really, really nice. Is that a J72 in the sidings? That's a 04, I think. I just caught a glimpse.
Oh, this is so... Ooh.
Yeah, J72, I'm going to guess.
The
there's
depth,
two of them
it's
there.
so good.
Really, really nice. So thank you ever so much, Heartfilia. Really great to see you there. And as you can see, it's fitting an awful lot in quite a small space.
It really is. And it's got the character because of that. It looks like it's a busy village or the side of a town. And it has character to it. I like his little mark on the background there, under construction.
Yeah. But this is really good. Those are the Bachman Thompson coaches. They do actually look quite good. I've ummed and ahed over getting some of those. They are quite expensive.
So now they're on your radar, are they? Like everything else. How much did you spend this weekend again? £6, was it?
Timothy Kinehard, hello to you, says good video. Absolutely, really enjoying this. Now what is that? That is a D16, I think, as it being overhauled by the Express milk tray. But there's some great use of Metcalf products there, I love the way you've got the town on top.
Yeah, and all those sheep and the little bits of stone and things as well. Oh, that looks so real. It reminds me of where I grew up.
Leslie
amazing.
Gilpin says, frustrating that Hornby issued some hush-hushes with the name planned but never carried. I don't the same way that KR Models are doing a number of locomotives like the Leader in various liveries that it never carried. And they are actually proving popular. The GT3 and Rail Blue as well are proving popular.
I understand why people want what is real, and there's definitely a lot to be said about that.
That is a lovely corner for viewing the layout.
People like me sometimes think, well, what if?
Yeah, and a great use of the Metcalf Church. I have to say, actually, I always think a church does complete a model. I don't think we don't have a church in here. No, we don't.
You're gonna have a castle at some point.
Yeah, although technically we do on the back scene, but yeah, and the thing is though, sometimes it can be quite hard to find the space. But by having stuff above like that really does work well.
Which is why actually I'm going to make a diorama for the castle.
Yeah, that is a lovely little pond there. You get some nice scenes.
Yeah.
Mark Wilson asks, why is it called a hush hush? I think because whilst it was under development, it was like, ooh, hush hush, don't tell anybody.
Isn't it?
It was being kept a bit of a secret, so it was all hush hush.
I thought it was because of the noise it made, like Gronks are called Gronks because they make the Gronk noise.
I don't know, that's
or the Gonk droid from Star Wars isn't actually called a Gonk droid, it's called a power droid. But it wanders around going Gonk, Gonk. So everyone calls it the Gonk droid.
James Pett's quite fair there. Says if we can have an imaginary location, why not speculative rolling stock too?
So I'd like to introduce you to the plan I have when I'm making some stuff for Colandia Railway, because of course we have our own country. I declared it as a joke on a podcast once, and it's kind of stuck, and now I've got all kinds of stuff happening. So we're going to have Colandia Railway, and it's going to have its own fictional railway.
That is a very glossy. I'm going to say A3. Is that actually Flying Scotsman? It could be. I love that corner actually with the tunnel, the retaining wall, and the signal box tucked in there. That actually works really well, and I love the little cameo there with the guy fishing and the boat and the little trees and the really murky water. That does look good actually. It's like a nice murky water. Brian Bell asks, what is the next exhibition you will be attending? That will be Model Rail Scotland in 2 weeks' time, and I will be there with the upside down layout. And we're sort of tentatively saying 2 o'clock in each of the days. We'll try and have a little bit of a meet-up at the upside down layout. Be great to see people.
And then later on, she'll probably have another meet-up at the bar. Because
Yeah, and
why
also
not?
Valley's 56XX also points out the Great Northern and Southern. Fictitious, and yet people love the model of that pannier in that livery. John JMC, absolutely known as the Hush Hush due to its secrecy. James Pett says, I think there are going to be announcements at Model Rail Scotland. Yes, I have heard that there will be
I've
too.
heard an announcement as well that when Jenny leaves and goes to Scotland, England is going to close its borders.
Shut up. So
Okay,
we've
guys,
got
I think
an
we're going to have to move
A4
on.
next. Yeah, actually, I've really enjoyed this. Have you put the link in the chat?
I have.
So
But
thank
this has
you.
been wonderful. It's great to see, but we do have a fair few more.
It is a great layout, but if you want to watch the full one, do check it out, the link. And really is a great fun layout and shows just what you can do in a small space. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Big hello to Flint Hill Model Railway, Jeff Hammond, who he's gone off the top of the screen now. But Iron Horse Railway says, didn't Kajagoogoo help design the Hush Hush? Or to use its full name, Too Shy Shy, Hush Hush, Eye to Eye. Hold on, wait, have you got... Put that trombone away. Will you no, careful where you're pointing.
I'm going to play it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know you love it.
Right. So Jamie Smith says, please do remember to tickle that like and follow by tapping on the thumbs up icon and tap on the subscribe to see more content by me. James Pett approves of 1980s music.
So do I. That's
well,
pretty much all that's on my Alexa.
I don't know. There was some dross in the 80s. It does have to be said.
Well, yes, there was a little bit.
When will I be famous?
I can't answer. I can't answer that. I can never.
But, so who have we got?
Oh my
next?
goodness. Oh, it's an advert. I thought a 10-second video. But it's okay. So we've actually got a story to go with this one.
So this is from Going to the Dogs. So big thank you for sending this in. John JMC says, not an LNER fan, but I was interested to know why it had an unusual shape. Well, this is the W1 Hush Hush.
It does have an unusual shape.
It was a marine boiler as opposed to a conventional one. So this is the infamous Hornby APT.
So I've got some story to go with this.
Okay.
And this is from Going to the Dogs. He says, I picked up the Hornby Class 370 APT of the weekend. Very impressive it looks too. Unfortunately, my retailer didn't have any of the appropriate DCC decoders, so I decided to set this up on a basic train set oval using second radius curves. Yeah.
That does kind of fill the circle.
Just a bit. It took me back to my first Christmas train set back in '69, pure nostalgia.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. So I know some people really. Oh, whoa!
Oh
yes.
my goodness!
Oh, I say I do like that.
Different colours as well.
I'm guessing that's the interior.
Oh wow!
That is. I really enjoyed that.
So good.
Thank you so much for sharing
also,
that.
Also, he says, P.S. an APT would look great on rear yard.
I
forgot to share the link. So here, there's the link.
But they are about £500.
Oh my
but you
goodness!
Can see 8
you can see where the money's gone.
It's not actually too bad when you work out what you get for the money.
Yeah, 8 coaches and it lights up. That's pretty good.
So who have we got next?
Okay, what have we got here? I think this is a new person who sent this in.
Mm-hmm.
He says, this video is intended to be played with sound on. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. Let's have a look.
We've got to be careful doing sound on because we can't actually
shove your headphones in.
Okay, well, I will monitor the state of Billy's replacement speakers.
Yes.
So
So I will bring this up, and what have we got here?
Okay, we will try this. So this is
I'm going
rule
to put it on
one.
at like half.
Okay, so this is rule one model railways. So if you want to hit play, down a little bit, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, there. So oh my word, I do like that with the Metcalfe bridges. That is actually really nice, and
That
the
does look good.
bushes.
That really does.
Great ballasting, working colour light signals
Oh, I
as
like.
well.
Yeah, the bus looks a very modern building behind.
Hmm.
Actually, no. Now we zoom out. It's a 60-star car park. I thought it was a modern housing thing.
So we're getting the sound of the, I'm going to say a class 185.
Look at those.
Um,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, John James, he said, made me jump. Yeah,
Sorry,
so
I don't know because I'm getting headphones on.
I think usually it's a case of start really low and then slowly bring the volume up rather than the other way
Well,
around.
this is lovely.
And this is, I'm going to say a class 156. So, into Phil Metcalfe, talking about somebody
The
in
guy
Blade
said,
2.
"When will I be famous?" And so he got famous when he
Oh.
stopped singing and played the bad guy in Blade 2.
What Matt Goss did? Where did Matt Goss play him?
I don't know. I haven't seen Blade 2 for years. You
Oh.
just give me an excuse to watch it tonight.
Class 158 people are saying. So I was in the ballpark. Yeah, 158 first, then a 150.
Then a 180.
And this actually shows what you can do with a DCC layout. So you notice they've come and gone on the same tracks effortlessly, and also watch the signals. They're all interlocked, really, really good.
That is amazing.
And then we've got all the sounds.
I'm loving the way the bus depot's done as well. That is so well
Yeah,
done.
yeah. Oh, toot toot.
Toot, toot.
Gordon Hanning, hello to you, says excellent layout. J. Paul Anderson says very nice piece of modelling there. Dare I say, Everard Junction-ish. Yeah, no, you may. And I like the height. Look at the height. The blocks of flats in the back seat. How good does that look? You know, getting real height to the
Yes.
model, I think is a very, very good way of doing things. So we've got two trains now that have come and gone on the same track. Really works nicely. So, oh,
There we go.
you turn that off so we don't get that. Oh, yeah,
I'm trying my best to get to the thing.
yeah. But thank
That
you so
was
much
really
for sharing
well
that
done.
with us. So,
Thank you.
so as we already had the headphones in, then that worked quite well. And Andy Brooks says, love the bus station and loving the sounds.
That was great. Very enjoyable. Thank
So
you.
thank you so much. James Pett says, I approve of modelling car parts. And that as well is one of those things, I think it's the Spagman Scenecraft car part. And one of the things that you can do with those, they're just deep enough that you can actually put all your little Oxford die-cast cars into. It's a great way of displaying and finding a home for all of those great motors, which really do set the period. And, you know, I think it's something that maybe people do sometimes forget, is that cars out on the road do tend to change
Yours
relatively
doesn't.
quickly. Yeah, no, mine doesn't. But no, you'll always have quite a reasonable percentage of new cars. But as the years go by, the number of old cars does drop off relatively quickly. So, right, we've
Next
got
up, we have Richard Swiderski, the 46100 Royal Scot.
on
Here
the
we
White
go.
Rose Rail Tour. Don't forget to tickle that like button and share the stream too. Also subscribe to the channel to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up.
Oh my goodness, how has he animated that steam? That is amazing.
Oh, you say this every time. The joke's
Oh.
not funny, Cupboard Monkey.
Eventually it'll become funny.
What, be ironic?
Yes. That is so cool.
The plume as well. And what it actually does show is that if you want a working smoke unit, this is what you're really trying to aim for. And the only thing that even gets close to this is the water-based ones. But even then, That is quite a plume.
That is amazing.
Lois Cartwright, big hello to you. Great to see you in the chat. Hemel Down Model Railway, big hello to you. And then we've got, oh, so there's a 47 on the end. So this is at Hertford. So we're going to see in the dark. This is the steam loco, isn't it? So that is the glow as they're opening the firebox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa, look. You can see the glow in illuminating the smoke.
That is cool.
That actually is really quite impressive in the dark.
Yeah. Okay, let's see someone model that.
Yeah, J94 says 46-100 is really going for it. Absolutely. That is a steam locomotive doing what it was designed to do.
That is amazing.
So thank you so much for sharing that video with us.
Okay, I think we have time for one more.
So have we got many more?
We've got loads more. So next week we're just going to have a special, as if we're doing something like a virtual model railway tour.
Look, that picture.
Always managed to get it, yeah.
That is so evocative, isn't it? That really does look
that's
beautiful.
Just wonderful.
Ruben Ashwell there says, yeah, beautiful. So Richard Swiderski says, thank you for showing it. Tell Zoe it is real. Look at that reflection.
Wow.
That is just an incredible, really incredible. So thank you
I want to
so
see
much.
Model that.
So thank you
cool.
so much for sharing that with us.
But like I said, next week I think what we should do is we'll make an event of it. If we've got no one booked to come on the show for anything, we should make it like a model railway event.
Maybe what?
Start a bit earlier.
Maybe start at,
really
after the first hour.
Yeah.
But first of all, actually, whilst Zoe's queuing the next video up, I'd just like to say that just a little bit of news on the new model front. We've got some of the new Bachmann Class 47s have arrived in stock, and Class 20s too. And at the Doncaster show, there was a couple of stands only that had some of the wagons that have come through from Bachmann. So we've had the 3-plank wagon in the Southern Railway livery, also in LMS livery with the sheeted load, and then we've also had the 1-plank in both Northeastern Railway livery and Great Western Railway livery. They have come through with the containers on, so just a little update that those are now in the shops. We've also got the LMS 3-plank wagon from Hornby has made it through, and I did see some examples of that at the show as well. So who have we got here, Zoe?
This is Tim's Model Railway, and you might recognise that he's making the most of his roundhouse that he's got here.
This roundhouse kit is actually really,
I have to ask one thing. Why is this guy left out?
Because there wasn't enough room in the shed, and he's got his own shed around him.
He's made of shed.
Yes. We've got the turntable actually is quite nice.
It
And I
really
like
is.
the little green handle for the mechanism for turning it. Actually does make that quite easy to use.
To be honest with you, I didn't even spot that. It kind of blends in a bit, doesn't it? Even though it's green. I tell you, weathering that thing up, it would not look out of place on most. I think I say this every time we see it.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Big hello to XMG12. Great to see you there in the chat.
Thank you,
John
sir, for
Welter
sending that
says-
over, Tim.
Says, woohoo, just got my takeaway from the delivery man. Takeaway. Iron Horse Railways, going back to the previous video, says, reminds me of the Saxon song, Princess of the Night. So,
I don't think I know that one.
So thank you so much for sending that in. Do we have time for one more?
I think we have time for one more, but there's a lot still to go through.
There's loads coming. Thank you so much, everybody, sharing your great videos with us. So it's just amazing. The stuff. Right, let's have a look.
I'm going to bring up the final one. Now, we won't be able to see all of this because it's long.
So this is the Pleasure Beach Express Point of View Opening Day 2022, filmed on the 12th of February. So this is from Lee D. Holden.
I'm going to bring this up. We're not going to be able to see it all, but I think it's going to be fun to see a bit of it.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to skip through this because it's 14 minutes.
Okay.
But I'm going to put the link to the full thing in, and I think we'll all enjoy this. Here we go.
So, is this riding the roller coaster, or is this actually a train ride? I can't remember what's actually the Blackpool Pleasure
Feeling
Beach.
it's a train ride, given the way it doesn't seem to have any.
No kind of safety, and people are wearing bobble hats.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be a roller coaster. Also, look, it looks like a train.
Yeah. So he must be the driver. So he's saying, "Hello, everybody. Oh, is everybody comfortable? Yeah, we're comfortable. Okay, then. Keep your hands in the vehicle at all times. Okay, then. Yeah, we'll do that. Right. Oh, just give me a push. Give me a push.
I'm going to zip it on a little bit. So it's... Nope, apparently I'm not because I'm pressing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So if I jump to...
So
Here
there
we
we
go.
Oh, so this is on the... this is the... I've been on this.
PBR, eh?
Something Blackpool Railway.
Pleasure Beach Railway?
Pleasure Beach Railway, yes. Oh God, it's been a long time since I've been on this.
Oh, this looks wonderful.
Oh wow.
Jen,
Oh, good God.
Blackpool's only down the road. Why don't we go to these things?
Don't know. So this is a ride on the train at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. This is actually quite nice.
This is not, yeah.
Yeah.
We should go and do this.
Yeah, it's like choo choo.
You see, adverts don't make me want to go to these things, but seeing it does.
Yeah. So this actually looks really good fun. It's a long time since I've been to the Blackpool Pleasure Beach.
We should take the kids. You know,
J94 says, I'm sure that railway is a 21-inch gauge railway. That's actually
Right.
quite wide. That's nearly...
If it's 21-inch gauge and it's quite wide, that means we might be able to fit on it.
No, but that's actually nearly, because it'd be 24 inches or 2 feet. That's getting up towards the Festiniog Railway.
Wobbler Production says, last time I went to the Pleasure Beach, the railway wasn't running. Last time I went to the Pleasure Beach, it was 1987.
Was the railway even there?
Probably not.
Yeah, it might have been. Gosh, actually, this is quite fun. I like the way
It's
that
huge.
they've got a lot of stuff here. It feels like the railway was there first, and then all this other stuff is encroached on it.
Yeah.
J94 says, last time I was in Blackpool, I mainly went for the trams, yeah.
I'm going to move it on a little bit more, see what else we got. Is that the roller coaster we're seeing? Yeah, there's the roller coaster,
Wow.
which I also like.
I'm not big on roller coasters. I get travel sick really easy.
You're not the one who had to take travel calm tablets to sit in a chair.
I must have actually travel car might be a good idea for,
Yeah.
yeah. It's quite interesting. I've never seen a miniature railway which actually goes this close to things like this. It's a very different miniature railway.
Yeah, it must be a hell of an experience.
Although Warbler Production says, I thought it was closer to 12.25-inch gauge rather than being nearly 2 feet. Need to check.
Either way, it's interesting.
And
guys, I think we've now seen what our next weekend away might be.
What, Blackpool?
Yeah, we're going to have a look around.
Or as they say, Blackie Vegas. Yeah, let's go play the slots.
Well, you can if you want. I want to go and have a look on that roller coaster.
Yeah. It's almost like a flashing red light there as well. Oh, there is. Yeah, keep your hands inside. Ooh.
My goodness.
This is actually a really interesting miniature railway because it's right in the heart of the Pleasure Beach.
It's something unique. It's so different.
And Ben Tullett says the railway was one of the rides put in back in the 1930s. So I'm guessing that the railway is actually was there before any of this other stuff.
So the roller coaster's essentially built around it.
I love that. And Jerry BVR, I was thinking this, but you said it. So the roller coaster people can barf on the train people. I was thinking it, but he said it.
We'll have to take a plastic hat or something.
Yeah, I like that. I thought it. He said it.
We have to go. We have to go.
But look, thank you so much for this.
I'm going to drop it on one last time.
Oh, right, so it does go to more... Are they real? They can't be real. Oh, no.
They're not real. They're not moving. You would not put that kind of monkey that close to people.
Yeah. This is actually really nice. There's
Iron Horse Railways, I like your thinking. Let's have a Monday Club takeover of the PVR.
Yeah, it's something actually I would like to do a Monday Club on location.
Yeah, last time we had a good time.
Yeah, I need to actually make an arrangement, I think, with a line where we actually have a coach that's reserved for the Monday Club
That would be
and
so
actually
cool.
do a live stream from
I want to
the
do that
coach.
so much. That would be so cool.
So anybody who is heavily involved in a preserved railway, then do make inquiries as to whether theoretically they would be okay to do that, and then maybe we can arrange something. I'd love to do something like the
was that?
Festinio.
Look
Dinosaur
at the
World.
size of those things. That is cool. I want to go here, Jen. Let's go now.
No, it's not open right now.
Okay, we're going to have to stop now. Guys, I've put the link in the chat, so go and have a look at the full thing. But that is amazing. Thank you so much for sending that in. That is so good.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. And
So that's Lee Holden. Thank you so much for sending that in.
Warbler Production says Statfold offer train hiring. I could even guard it. But the
That
thing
would be
is
cool.
that I suspect it's probably well out of our price range. The idea, I mean, maybe we could do tickets, but it does become a very, very...
It becomes a case of we need to make sure people are coming.
Can I just say, John JMC was really keen to share. He sent in a firebox, some pictures of a firebox glow. We've got just enough time, perhaps, to share those. So,
Right, I'll have to open this up again then.
yeah. So we're just going to try and find them. I think they're just photographs.
If it's just come in, that'll be a reason I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so we're just going to check for those, John. And it was
Where's
really
that
nice
place?
as well to meet you at the Doncaster show. And thank you so much as well for the adapter to make my Sprog booster work. So I'll hopefully have a play with that later this week.
Those sound like words I should understand. What's a Sprog booster? I'm assuming that it's not a booster seat for a child.
Evan Terry says Blackpool Pleasure Beach Express is a 21-inch, so it is 21-inch.
Wow.
Narrow gauge railway built in 1933 as a tourist attraction at Pleasure Beach, Blackpool, Lancashire.
Excellent.
So it is 21-inch. Really interesting. A lot of people are suggesting Statfold Barn. So there we are. So two
I'm trying
images.
to bring it up. It's taking a time.
No worries. We're just bringing that up, and it's just two. Oh, yeah. I can see why you sent them in.
Okay, so he says a Fairburn tank and a Q1. All my steam lurkers have firebox glow, even my Peckett. Wow.
That looks like in the thumbnail. It looks like it's on fire. So hold on. Let me just bring that up. So
Oh
wow.
my goodness.
That is actually
That is
very
fantastic.
effective. Wow, have I got
Oh.
that same 33006?
That's
got
so
me thinking.
well done.
I think I've got that same locomotive, but that looks amazing. And based on what we've seen, I mean that looks quite hot in there. That is quite a glow.
Yeah.
Thinking,
Wow.
it's like, my God, it's on fire. But no, that is actually really impressive,
That
and it
is-
does show what you can do with firebox glow. Not your piddly little like. But thank you so much for sharing those with us. And Stuart Puddham
Well
Junction
worth
says
the wait.
great videos tonight again. Not been to Blackpool, but maybe one day. Absolutely.
It's worth a look, to be honest with you. Sometimes it gets a bit of a bad reputation, but it's actually worth a look.
It gets a bad rap, but it's all right.
right.
Also we've got I've just seen I've just missed the comment now.
What comment was it? Right at the top.
No, Andy Brooks. I love the firebox. Looks realistic.
Yeah.
And exploring and adventures. Big hello to you. Great. Thank you for joining us here on the stream. Don't forget, everybody, do tickle the like button.
Can I just say, Warbler Production says you can email the people at Statford, find out how much it would cost for a group visit. That would be superb. Thank you very much for looking into that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can do. But again, it would be a case of we have to know people are coming.
Yeah, we basically have to have guarantees from people because otherwise we can't afford to hire a coach and then only have like us turn up.
Although fun as that would be for you to have your own coach.
Yeah. But certainly it's something that if we can get a guaranteed turnout, then it is something we could look at.
Yeah.
And it may well be that maybe if Statfold are able to offer a thing whereby people can book direct with them, because we don't want to be handling people's money. We'd rather that's done direct and actually have like a tipping point where as long as X number of people book, then it goes ahead. But if it doesn't reach that, then they just get refunded.
Like a Kickstarter.
Yeah, kind of. But I think if Warbler, you're able to just check with Statfold Barn whether that is something they can do, because what we don't want is we don't want to handle people's money for bookings like that, because I think it would just be better if
someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we partnered with Rails for selling the Monday Club
Absolutely. It's basically the partnership so that you're giving your money to
someone that you know.
Yeah,
knows
know
what they're
and
doing.
trust, and you know, it's peace of mind.
Yeah.
But Belmont Junction says, please, Jenny. Absolutely. And Ben Tullett says, Jenny, go on the scary wooden roller coasters, as they are more terrifying than the modern ones due to them being made from wood. Absolutely.
To be honest with you, I enjoy those ones. They're great. And they've got a proper rickety feel to them with the sounds.
I don't think you want rickety when you're on a roller
No,
coaster.
it's perfectly safe, but it sounds rickety is what I'm saying.
Rickety is not a good vibe for a roller coaster.
Yes, it is. It
No,
adds to the experience.
No.
Okay, guys, it's 9:10, so we should really
Absolutely, and I've got work early in the morning, so
I've got work in 5 minutes.
So what I'm going to say is that we are going to carry over any of the unused videos and pictures till next week. We're going to try and have a little bit extra, maybe, depending on what we get sent in. So really thank you to everybody who sent in pictures and videos. Really enjoyed that. Great to see what you guys are up to. And don't forget that you can check out the Jenny Monday Club Facebook group throughout the week to be able to share pictures of your projects and also check out other people's projects. Love to hear from you guys. It's really great to see the community growing. And thank you all, everybody who donated on Super Chat, everybody who donated through paypal.me. Your donations are amazing. Your generosity is amazing. Thank you so much. And we've got plenty of great videos coming up. So look out for, in fact, funnily enough, we've just had Iron Horse Railways as guest of the Monday Club today, doing that really superb, quick weathering tutorial. And I've got my own weathering tutorial where I weather up some of the Oxford Rail Pilchard wagons. It's coming later this week. We're also finally getting the update that we filmed at the exhibition at the Bolton Model Rail Club. Really sorry it's taken so long to get to this. We had such a big buffer of stuff, so we're going to be showing that. And then there's also going to be a video from the Doncaster show. Will be next week, along with a review of that Hornby 6-wheel Sentinel. So do stay tuned for that. And then we're onwards and upwards to the Glasgow show, where you can see the upside down layout. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be there all week, and it's also a great opportunity to talk to me about the layout, and also Paul Tyre, the unsung hero of that build. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.
Monday Club for everyone. It's a really la la la. I don't know the words.
Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye for now.